Welcome back to lesson 2.6, chapter 2, lesson 6 of Unity for Theatre Design. We are looking at saving scenes, how we save scenes today. And we have already saved a scene in here, so we've sort of covered it off in a simple way, but let me just go into a little bit more detail so you understand what's actually going on. Everything in the project folder here is saved automatically as part of your Windows folder or your Mac folder where you store all your data. Anything you add here lives there forever. So if I click on assets, right click, I'll create a script, C# script, new behavior scripts, click enter. If I go to the folder location for that, right click, show in Explorer, I'll just drag that over. There's my new behavior script. And if I go back in here and I delete it, and it's going to compile the scripts, check it's not doing anything it shouldn't be. Oh, no, we don't need that one anymore. Where's it gone? Where's it gone? There. That's where it lived, new behavior script, and it's gone now because we deleted it. So that's like an automatic saving system. It's just doing that all the time. The actual way to save the scene that you're working in is with file save as, save and save as. So they're very different things. When you're saving a scene, what you're doing is you're saving the editor, what's actually in this scene window. Okay, nothing else that's in other windows will be saved. I mean, there's things like, you know, when we start working with Playmaker later, you'll find that gets saved in, but that's because you're building nodes into your hierarchy here. But all of your project settings and everything is saved elsewhere. So if you do file save, or save as, you're saving the scene that you're working in. Now, in game engine terms, a scene is the same as a level or a map. In Unreal, they're called levels and maps, and that is the equivalent of you walking through a door in a computer game, and then you get the sort of a loading bar and it loads up the next scene where you go and do something else, or maybe you click, go back to start or something, and it loads another level up for you. So that's the point of a scene. Now it sort of works in the theatre context because we work in scenes, so you might want to have a scene for each of your scenes and acts, or you may not. You may just have one scene for your entire project, which is actually how I work. So what I do is I save everything in a folder called scenes, just keep it all organised. It's very easy to lose your scenes, particularly when you start dealing with third-party content. So create scenes. I've already got my sample scene, which is the one that Unity creates when you start, and Unity training, which is the one we're working on right now. So I'm not going to save because I've already saved that one. I'm going to leave it there. I'm just going to hit file save and just update the scene we've already got, which is this Unity training scene. Now, just to explain what you would do with that, if you go to build settings, and we're going to cover building things later, in here all the scenes that will end up getting built into your application, and at the moment only sample scenes being added. So if you built this app, even though we've got this scene open, it won't get built into your app. But if you click add open scenes, it adds it in and it looks for it there. And you can say, I don't want this one. I may not want that one. I'm just going to have nothing for the moment. I'm going to wait until later, and then I'm going to get my scenes folder. I'm just going to click and drag my Unity training scene in there. So that's what ends up getting built out to my app when I get around to it. So that's important to know. Now, there are sometimes scenes that get imported as part of plugins that you buy. So we bought some plugins earlier. Let's have a look in here. Third-party sample scenes. And there's a folder called scenes. You see how this filing structure is really similar. That's why it's really good to use a sort of very standard filing system that's industry approved. So we've got some scenes in here. There's quite a few that somebody's built already. So let's click on car. What's that? There we go. Ignore the pink. It's very difficult to ignore. We're going to talk about that later as part of materials. It's something to do with URP. But you see that's a new scene that's been loaded up, and there's a car. You just have to see it. It's all pink. I promise I'll explain to you later what that is and why it's doing that. We've got a 2D character scene. So this is 2D content. So let's just jump up. Can we see that as a? If we double click on the UI. Where is it? No, it's hidden down there. So there's a little thing right down there in the corner, which is our 2D scene. There you go. So that's a little game somebody's obviously built. There's a little person. Spin around, I think it might be that way around. See, it's actually just a 2D plane that lives in the 3D world. We can talk about that later as well. A whole load of content there. What else? They've got particles. Particles are always interesting. Might be a lot of pink. Yep, lots of pink. Makes it very hard to see anything, but again I'll explain this later. And look, there's a user interface on there as well, which will be what lives inside the screen when you're looking. we'll come and look at all that a little bit later and explain why that's all pink. But there, that's how you load up scenes, and it's often helpful to start with somebody else's scene if you're importing a plugin, because they'd have got it all working for you. You don't have to try and load all the scripts. There'd already be components built inside it that you could use, and then you can start to work around their project to build your own. Right, we'll go back to Unity training. We're going to carry on with this in the next lesson, in the next chapter, in fact, because we've now completed chapter 2. In chapter 3, we're going to start getting into nitty-gritty. We're going to start making things. We're going to go for all of the objects that you can build here in the create panel and up here in assets and game objects. We're going to talk about all the components individually and start to see how we can pull things together. Okay, see you in the next chapter.